This weekend we got reviews for the musical adaptation of Mean Girls, the latest Jason Statham revenge movie, The Beekeeper, and what did I catch up on recently? Alright, I saw Saltburn, I'll review that too. But first up, here's a clip from The Beekeeper.
I'm a beekeeper. I protect the hive.
This is a multi-million-dollar operation, asshole.
I love a revenge movie where it's like, well, I've never described one like this before. So Jason Statham is a lonely beekeeper working for Felicia Rashad, and then one day she's scammed out of all of her money by a group of people that think they're in something like Wolf of Wall Street but wandered into a Statham action film. She goes from zero to suicidal quick and dies, where Statham is gonna literally burn it all to the ground, which could involve the most powerful people in the world. I love how Jeremy Irons reluctantly has to take on the Beekeeper. He says to tech bro villain Josh Hutcherson, well, the Beekeeper already marked you, so you're dead. Guess I'll try to do something though. The movie has a real sense of humor about itself, not unlike something like the Liam Neeson movie Cold Pursuit, where it isn't fully a parody, but it knows how to simultaneously poke fun at these kind of films. Statham has this almost Saturday morning cartoon dialogue where he'll be preaching morals to the villains before stapling their heads in. And I love how he equates everything to bees, with talks of queen bees, worker bees, and protecting the hive. It's also his most brutal character since Chev Chelios. A side note, don't watch the trailer for this. I'm cutting around it, but it does give away the best death in the movie. I did like Cold Pursuit better than this, because this still has some problems. Namely, these damn FBI characters that feel like a stock TV procedural crowbarred into the movie. It stops dead every time these characters come on screen. I sat there like, can we please cut to anything else, for the love of God? These particular performances aren't great. They constantly repeat information we already know, and the lines are bad. Not fun bad, just bad. With this character, I was thinking, why does this feel like a character out of something terrible like Blacklight? Then halfway through, I remembered, oh right, she was in Blacklight. I do wish we spent more time with the characters at the beginning before the plot kicks in mere minutes into it. Also, things wrap up a bit too quickly in the final moments to where it felt like there was some clumsy editing involved. But overall, this was a very fun movie with some truly batshit moments and great fight scenes. I wish I could give it something higher, but on the plus side, the criticisms I have bring it down to a hilariously appropriate B. Up next, you like Mean Girls? Well, here's the musical adaptation.
I like your shirt.
Thanks. Smells like sausage from the last time I wore it.
I wouldn't say I'm exactly the audience for this. I do like the original, but I certainly don't know it inside and out like tons of people who grew up with it. I saw it when it came out and then rewatched it a few years ago, so I'm not going into this fresh, but fresher than probably everyone else who goes to see it. That said, this movie was a nice surprise, and what really carried it was the fact that it is a musical. The songs are great here. The plot, of course, plays along like the other one, which of course it is a remake, but there weren't any surprises with the story, so when the first couple of songs were kinda awesome, I was really looking forward to what the next would be over the course of the whole film, and they really didn't disappoint. The acting is for the most part very good. These actors really do make the roles their own, and I wasn't constantly thinking about the performances of the other. Renee Rapp is excellent here, and between her and Damien, they both steal the film. When Katie came on screen, I thought, wow, she looks a lot like a younger Jenna Fisher. Then in a bit of excellent casting, Jenna Fisher plays her mom, and I even wondered, are they actually related in real life? They're not. Aaron is a bit too bland here and seems like he's more so out of a TV movie. In fairness, there are parts that do look a little TV movie-ish, which apparently this was originally supposed to be direct to streaming, but then in other times, there's really ambitious filmmaking here. I love the opening shot that starts out like it's in TikTok vision, then in one take goes to this grand setting like it's from out of Africa. There's even a couple of moments where it's straight up shot like a horror film, and kudos to the part where they're watching Friday the 13th Part 2. The choreography on the musical numbers is solid. Some of the songs are very funny. The movie doesn't quite have the edge of the original, since there's some things where it wouldn't make sense for them to do in a high school today than 20 years ago. The mean girls don't seem as fearsome here as before. And if I'm gonna rewatch any of these movies, it'd be the first one again, but I am glad I saw this. And I hope it does well because I want to see a big budget musical remake of Mean Girls 2. I'll give this one another B, though not a hilarious B like The Beekeeper. Next up, it's Saltburn, with significantly more bathtub cleaning with the tongue.
Don't bang on about it, Pamela, darling. You know we're delighted to have you for however long it is you mean to stay.
Forever?
Well, I could actually stay for a little bit longer.
No, darling, no. You must be desperate to be rid of us and find your own place. I quite understand.
Well, this'll be an interesting one to talk about. In Saltburn, Barry Keoghan is an outsider at college who makes friends with the popular dude and, oh wait, come to think of it, maybe this is an appropriate double feature with Mean Girls. Anyway, they go off for a trip to his family estate, Saltburn, where I'm sure it's not going to be the delightful vacation they want. There is great things about the movie, mainly the filmmaking, as it's from the director of Promising Young Woman, and especially the lead performance from Barry Keoghan, who, if he gets brought up a lot during awards season, it's well earned, because he lets it all out in this role. This is like something I'd see James Spader or Crispin Glover play years ago. For the first act, I was curious enough where it was going. I only kinda knew a brief synopsis, so when they get to Saltburn, I was like, okay, is this gonna be like a Most Dangerous Game type of deal? Or will it be a murder mystery? Is this person gonna turn out to be crazy? Is that person gonna turn out to be crazy? Eventually I figured out what was going on, so it picked up a little more for me in the second half. But overall, honestly, I just thought this movie was okay. It's one where the performance is better than the material. It has these reveals near the end, or I don't know if it was supposed to be a twist, because I thought it was a given about an hour prior. It also does these shock for the sake of shock moments where it'll turn into an old sexploitation movie out of nowhere, which that's fine if it's blended into the movie well, but here it will grind to a halt just to try to shock or gross out the audience. Every single moment like this could be removed, and you'd lose nothing. Like, remember the masturbation scene from Gus Van Sant's Psycho? It's like if that happened several more times in the film. And if anything, it left me with more questions about our lead and the motives. By the end, it's not like I was upset that I saw it, but there's other things like it where I was thinking a lot about how much better the talented Mr. Ripley was. If I saw this in theaters, it'd be around a C+. Maybe on streaming, it'd be a generous B- for the performances and filmmaking, but that's if it's catching me in a good mood. Thanks for watching, everyone. Stay tuned next week for the thriller ISS, and we'll see you next time.